Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday morning. I almost wanted to say Tuesday because I still feel like yesterday was Monday, but we're on Wednesday already due to the market holiday. How is everyone doing? Good morning, Patrick. Hey, PMG. I hope your loss was within your loss parameters. That's what's most important, to make sure your losses are within your loss parameters and not oversized, because we all take losses. Good morning, Todd. It's part of trading and investing. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Jacob. All right, wait for some more people to filter in. So far, we've had the mortgage information come out today. Mortgage rates higher. And we have Bowman, that the speech was released. He was talking now. We had Redbook coming in again, contracting. It's more of a quiet day, but everything's going to be off the debt ceiling and any rhetoric around that. It looks like they have the votes to pass it, but let's see. That's going to be the big thing today. You got Chicago PMI coming out 15 minutes after the open. Going to still be watching for that to be in contraction. You have the JOLTS openings and quits at 9 a.m. Unless it's really misses the mark, it probably won't be market moving. But if it's somewhere off, either a big miss or a big beat, it could have an effect. So I wouldn't just check at it, or if you see a lot of movement at 9 a.m., I'd check at it. Dallas Fed services. Remember, manufacturing was horrible for Dallas Fed manufacturing index. So going to see how the services fares, and that's at 1 hour after the market opened. Then you have Harker and Jefferson speaking during lunchtime. Fed beige book, but it's really going to be on the debt ceiling. I think the vote's scheduled for this afternoon. Good morning, Sterling. Good morning, Christoph. And then remember, we still have a lot of stuff backdated this week with ISM tomorrow and non-farm payrolls on Friday. So far, finally, AI is selling its own stock. It's going to take some profits. Wait for the pullback. See, it's sort of right now a risk-off day so far. You see healthcare. I mean, it's not super strong, but it's holding up as oil's dropping like a rock, and the oil stocks are pulling back. Going to be watching where oil closes today. But let's just do a quick refresh of this. Energy leading it down. Real estate, utilities, and healthcare are minorly positive, but nothing's really positive right now today. Fed watch, we're still about 63% for the hike. Based off the market pullback, now it's pricing in a hike and two cuts. So fear, greed, still solidly in greed mode. In terms of gamma, right now we're trading 41.94, so we're slightly in negative gamma. Remember, the call gamma has fallen away below 4,200. There's not a lot of put gamma that starts kicking in. There's minor, but more so starts kicking in below 41.50. It's really the evaporation of call gamma right up here. So that 4,200 is still key on any rally. But if you start dropping closer down towards that 41.50, we will accelerate into negative gamma again. So do keep that in mind. We could get some downside volatility, especially if some key levels break. In terms of earnings, we have Advanced Auto Parts, and that's really it. After the close, we have Salesforce and CrowdStrike. So what do we got going on right now? We finished the double targets on the S&P, coming into a very key area, 4190. 4190 is very key. Also, remember, we have a clear path move. That's about the only minor stopping point. Below there, 4179 roughly, because we're into a clear path move. So 4179, see, even on the hourly, it's a clear path move. There's just as minor hitch on the 15-minute, but it's an advanced clear path move. So I'm using the 50% harmonic as the next target for downside. Come on. Let me get back to what? Come on, don't do that. There we go. There we go. I'm using 41.79 and then down to about 41.68 to 41.64 is my major support, but not expecting that to get hit today. Really focusing on the 41.90 area and then at 41.78. On a bounce, we don't have any really bullish signs yet. This would not be watching for a double. But although if you do break above about 42.06, it's would definitely be looking like we have put in possibly at least a choppy bottom. But then the next key level would be about 42.15 to 42.16 to the upside. Daily cycles getting back to that topping area. NASDAQ, what's this? We got a red bar. What are these red bars on the chart? Coming up that cluster yesterday and reversing, breaking below that topping bar from yesterday with daily cycles at the top. And this has severely overbought. I'm really watching to see if it breaks below this 4-hour rotation zone. And let's put up the short-term harmonics from this move. Right now it's trading at that 25%, but we start breaking below about 14,300, 14,290. Then minors 14,195, majors 14,070, right around there. And then we got 13,950. To the upside, really's got to get back above about 14,375. And then the targets would be 14.4 and 14.442, and then I'd use the reverse. I'd use the retracement harmonics. Remember, coming out of very, very overbought conditions with cycles at the top, so we could definitely see a couple day, at least a couple day pullback, and it's very overextended from the daily rotation zone. Good morning, Options 22. Hey, Christo. Good morning, George. Dow, just watch. If we break below about 32,900, watching back down to about 32,800. Minor support is about 32,850 in the Dow. Key breakout levels above about 33,050. Russell nearly finished the double. So on another push lower into the open, 1759, and then major key support about 1750 to 1753. The breakout level for that would be 1772. And then the target above there, it's really tight because you got about 1775 and then you got 1783. Besides that double in the S&P, there haven't been a lot of fantastic setups unless we get some downside momentum in the NASDAQ, because it could retrace some stuff. VIX, slightly elevated compared to yesterday, but still 1835 is the level I'm watching if we start accelerating back above there. DAX, still holding key support in the 50, but this has really been softened. Do we have a little potential double? Not really. Maybe it just ekes in with the 4-hour, and it is that's still one side, but I'll leave those up there for now. That's about the only bullish thing. Otherwise, it would be in consolidation. But if this area starts breaking, especially if we break about 15.8, 15.650 is the next support area. And then we could easily get back to about 15.5. Notes, continuing the little snapback rally out of very oversold conditions. Cycles moving back up. Minor area is about 113.26. Majors 114.03. We'll be watching to see once cycles get back to the top there. You can see the pullback into the prior breakout zone on the 10-year yield. So let's see how today closes, because we could possibly get rotation and percent B buy entries on a strong rotation back up. The dollar index still getting, cycles are rolling over, getting out of overbought We might have a little divergence with this new poke higher, but still this qualifies for me as a sideways correction. We'll start getting more interested in a bigger pullback below 103.45 with 103.21 being the next. I'm going to bump that down just a hair. More is coming in more about 103.10. And then we're looking at about 102.80. Crude, as I mentioned, pretty decent sell-off, bouncing back a little. But 67.80 is where I'm watching for a closing basis, the daily closing basis. We close below there, then the targets will be for a potential retest of the beginning of May 4th low area. Other than that, is there any key pattern? Not just yet. Not just yet. There is a clear path move with the breakdown zone being about 69, but there's no solid pattern just yet. A little momentum bar at the 8 a.m. So if we do get a pausing bar and then a retrace, there could be a minor little upside push to 68.80 would be the first target area I'd be looking for there. Gold. Snapback. Now let's see if we get a pullback, not necessarily today, but over the next couple of days and get a little inverse head and shoulders. Other than that, key resistance still sitting at 1990. Silver after completing that double. No fantastic pattern just yet. Copper. Let's see if we get an inverse head and shoulders there. Yen. Still pulling back into the rotation zone. If we start breaking below about 139.25, major level now for support within the rotation zone is 138.70. But now I'm going to start watching if we for a stabilizing rotation and a secondary move back up, but we still have some downward pressure with the cycles. The euro tapping the 75% harmonic. But is there a bottoming pattern just yet? No. Just like there's no great topping pattern, there are some divergences setting up with cycles moving back up, but so far we don't have any retracement correction just yet. It will be interesting to see how the dollar reacts if the debt ceiling deal is finalized today. Nothing much going on the pound. Gets sort of interesting back above 124.45 for a potential little bounce higher. Bitcoin, I saw. George, how's crypto looking? We still have the double that did not hit the first target and coming back down to retest key support, but that double's not invalidated. Remember, that little double bottom was within the bigger double top. So we have mixed signals there. And so far, still in consolidation. So neither the double top or the double bottom have played out yet, but neither of them has been invalidated. So, hate when we get conflicting signals, but that's just the way it works sometimes. Tesla, gap down so far today. On any rallies would be for the gap fill 201.16. And remember, you have a gap fill to the downside 193.17. Be interesting to see how this reacts and if it gets a little island toppy against the 200. But there's no other great signals there. Nvidia, then we'll get to spiders and the Qs. Looks like it could fill the gap to 389.46 if the market continues weak into the cash open. My key line in the sand is still the low from the major gap up on the 25th of May. Let's look at those spiders and the Qs. Spiders, is there a fantastic signal? No. So we're going to have to look at the shorter term and use the retracement harmonics. Minor level would be 418. Right now it's open 418.45, so I'd be using 418, and then major level 416.25 area. To the upside would be to, first, I would not target the gap fill yet. It would be 419.40 area, so about $1 higher than where we're trading pre-open, and then the gap fill. 420.16. Above there would be 420.99. For the Qs, we still do have a gap left behind the 348.39. That's just, we're going to look to open just higher to that, so be watching for the support there. If we break below that, there is no major support, just like in the NASDAQ. So I would use the harmonics 344.80, which is coming in right about the 4-hour rotation zone, and then 341.75 are the key things. And that's only if we break below about, I'd watch for the gap fill, but then support about 347.80. I'd only start targeting the lower prices if we really break below about 347.80 personally. To the upside, besides the little gap fill, going to 349.95, next key level 350.90 area. And then it would be to the yesterday's high area. So, which puts have more downside? If we start getting momentum in the NASDAQ, I'd say the NASDAQ, but you're fighting a stronger trend. We'd really need a momentum breakdown. Why? The S&P is coming into some key support area. So the NASDAQ, this is where it gets tricky with your question. You're at cycles top, you're coming out of overbought, and you could easily reconnect with the daily rotation zone. But it's somewhat the riskier play because it's been the stronger market. And we'll probably get, once we get a secondary bounce after a pullback, that'll probably be the stronger bounce. So if we start getting some momentum, I'd be looking for downside puts, but as it gets to these lower levels in the NASDAQ, I would not get greedy with them because we will get that secondary bounce, and that will be the stronger bounce. See, again, the S&P, there's some major support where it's trading into. The NASDAQ does not have any major support. As I said, there's still a 4-hour rotation zone, a 4-hour clear path, a 1-hour clear path. But if we don't get downside momentum, there's just, well, you know, if there's not at least some sustainable downside momentum to get this thing to really start pulling back, the buyers will rush into the NASDAQ first. That's your risk. The Dow also is not great. And then if I had to choose, I'd be looking for downside plays in the NASDAQ very, very short term. They could just be for today. What else do we have? What else? Let me just want to look at. I did not see Advanced Auto Parts, their earnings come out yet today. Yeah. All right. With that, so what else do we have going on? Just with the other mega caps, Apple we got some very toppy price action. Divergence is setting up. This really looks like we're setting up an exhaustion move. Okay, but again, it will be the secondary reaction back up that I'm really watching for. We'll get a primary at some point, and then the bounce play will tell us a lot about future weakness. But that's also looking toppy. But again, these tops could get taken out. Look how overextended Microsoft is. And we got divergences. But does this mean it's a collapse play? No. I mean, we could easily just come back a bit then. I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but secondary reactions are going to be key after the initial pullback. All right, with that, hope everyone has a great trading day. Remember, it's more on the headlines with any debt ceiling today, so you sort of got to pay attention to that if you're a short-term trader. With that, I shall talk to everyone later. Oh, thank you very much for the super chat, Options 22, a wonderful supporter of this channel. Thank you so much, Options 22. Again, Want to reiterate, keep watching. Watch those market internals too, especially the tick. If we do start pulling back, make sure we're getting confirmation with the tick for any downside move. And I shall talk to everyone later. You're welcome, Todd. Again, big shout out to Options 22 for the super chat. Thank you so much. I'll see you everyone after the close. Bye for now.